This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker-dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Moon and Papa. Just want to make sure, audio should be working, things should be good. I hope everybody is doing well. What a day. What exciting news from Jerome Powell. Totally unexpected market reaction as well, considering the fact that his news wasn't, or rather his statement wasn't that bullish. So I am here, I'm live. I want to just remind people that if you're just jumping into this live stream, welcome. I have these every single week. At this time, this is my 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time on Thursday, which would be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in North America, which would be like New York. And then that would mean it would be 6 p.m. West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time in North America. So in today's live stream, I'm going to be talking about the markets. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Jerome Powell's, or rather what's happening in the markets and why. To the extent that I understand, I don't profess to be this huge like buff on whatever he says and dissecting everything he says. But from what I understand, I'll share what I have. And then, of course, regrettably, Sam Bankman-Fried did do an interview with the New York Times. I don't know why he actually appeared, and he wasn't behind bars. I don't know why, other stuff. So let's get into why the market's looking the nice way it is. So over here on TradingView, let me just make sure I got my windows open. Perfect. So here on TradingView, the markets have been very happy. If I go over here to the Dow closed up 2%, which is a lot for the Dow Jones Index, to be honest. Like back here, this is 2.6%. This is on a big rally, 2.5%. So here it's par for the course. It's actually doing really well. I'm surprised, to be honest, because I was not expecting good news to come out of this meeting. And I was expecting the price, rather the index, to come down here to retest. But actually, this is looking really good. Couple of things to note is that, yes, we do have these two breakouts here on the daily time frame. So you got numero uno, numero dos, ichiban, niban, however you want to say that in your own language is fine. So the nice things about this, the good things about this is that we did surpass the high here. It fell down and now it clearly closed above the previous high. That's great. And now it is on its way to retest at 36,200. Apparently, we do have breakouts on the TBO, and that means that this should be explosive, further upward continuation for the price. Going back here, the only thing I'm a little bit hesitant on about this is this. The last time we've seen this happen, we had this happen. We had these TBO breakouts and the price basically fell down after that. One thing that I want to address this too, because you can see this, it's clear as day. One thing I do want to make clear though is that where and when the TBO breakout happens is really important. So I want to zoom out just a bit more. So we're looking at this scenario right here. We have an orange dot, which is our closed short. Here's a cluster of closed shorts back here in April 2020. We have our open long, and then we have some breakouts, and the price does actually come down. So it's normal to see a breakout and then to see some closed longs. It happens over here as well. But typically after we see a big fall and there are some breakouts, there might be a little bit of a hiccup, which is normal. I don't expect the price to fall down after that, but I do think that there's going to be some pretty significant resistance up here right here at 36,200 or so. But this is just the DJI, and most people don't use this. I like to look at it though. So let's go ahead and take a look at the SPX. So I was of the belief that we were going to see this move up and then fall down. There we go, a little bit of sideways movement, move up, and here we are at the same area. The main difference between this chart and the Dow Jones chart is that the Dow Jones chart is clearly above any line of, or every line of resistance, whereas the SPX chart, it still hasn't hit resistance yet. The last couple of times this has happened, it hits it and it falls lower, or it actually didn't even hit it. Because this line, let me go ahead and hide these. This line right here is really our line of resistance to watch. But we do have this point right here that I decided to draw a line of resistance to just in case. So we're closing in on that with the SPX closing at 3.1%. Again, a mega move, really big move for the stock market. So when it comes down to other indicators, so we're seeing RSI is almost overbought. Almost. It's at 69.52. The last time it was up this high was right here, 69.57. That's good. It could actually move up a whole lot more, and it's not even in oversold territory yet. Notice what happened last time here in July, where it went up right away into overbought territory to 72. Fell down, kept climbing higher until, so we're not seeing that happen yet. With the Dow Jones Industrial Index, this is a little bit different, where our high here at 86.47 is just below, 86.47 is just above, 0.37. So what needs to happen is this. If we're going to see anything look happy and bullish, RSI needs to make a new higher high above 79.01. It's possible. Anything is possible, but it's already overbought after a pump. So there's still 2 more days left in the week. That said, what's happening right now is kind of what I was expecting to happen for all markets, including crypto, which is that Santa Claus rally. So we saw that after Halloween, the index, I always call it the price, but the price of this index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, has moved up considerably, and I think it will continue to until December 20th or so. But after that, about mid-December, we should see it starting to cool off, because that's typically what happens. Like over here, we can see last year, there was a bit of a rally, and then it peaked out here in January, and then it fell. So we'll see, but I still think that there's really strong resistance. I don't expect the Dow or the S&P to make higher highs in 2023, but we can be happily surprised. So let's go over to crypto. Let me change the order. There we go. So this big green day that everyone's celebrating on Bitcoin, it's worth talking about, and we will talk about why it's important, but keep in mind this 4.5% move, when we zoom out, not so great. If we look at our year to date, it's not so good. It's just this little move. So one thing that has happened that is really good about it is that the price has come up to the fast line. I talked about this in the last live stream from last week, particularly for the weekly time frame, saying that it's been a long time since we've seen the price hit the TBO fast line. So right now we are in a similar spot where daily, of course, is going to happen. And now that it's hit it, the next logical thing to happen is for it to fall back down. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's not just going to magically go up. So let's talk about some crazy scenarios. Crazy scenario, let me type this out because this will be easier. So crazy scenario number 1. Crazy scenario number 1 would be if the price of BTC continues to rally and it goes up and it closes above 18,500. So let me go ahead and turn off the TBO just so we can focus on these lines. And let me get rid of these previous lines. Go over here. Great. And there we go. So the crazy scenario number 1 is Bitcoin actually retraces up above 18,500. So crazy scenario number 1 would be it actually does that and it continues to go up higher. very crazy, very, very unlikely. Nothing should really make this happen at all. That's why I'm labeling it crazy scenario number 1. So that's actually, I'll leave that up. That's really good to leave up because it just reinforces how crazy this is. So now we're looking at not so crazy. Not so crazy scenario number 2. And let's make this a little bit smaller so it fits. And that would be, go over here to our pen. That would be, it comes up and then it falls down, but we continue to range sideways. Not so crazy, but not as likely, in my opinion. Mainly because even though we're super oversold, the FTX fallout is far from over. The media, for whatever reason, is painting this rosy picture that Sam Bankman-Fried is the victim in all of this, when he's actually the reason why everything got effed up. So looking at not so crazy scenario number 2, I would be surprised for Bitcoin to shoot up to 18.5 and range sideways. That would be very weird. What I think is the more believable scenario, you're not going to like this one, but nothing like typing during a live stream. There should be a typing live stream. That would be really boring, wouldn't it? So the more realistic, the more believable scenario would be the price comes back down to test this range, make a new low, bounce up, and then fall further and continue dropping. That would be the more believable scenario. So how could I make such a more believable scenario like this? What would make me say that? Well, it really all comes down to what Powell said. So in his remarks, he basically said that they are easing the rate hikes. So instead of a 75 basis points or 0.75% rate hike, they're only going to be raising it by 50, which is surprising given the fact that inflation is out of control and we're basically in a recession. But for whatever reason, he feels like, whatever, let's just ease back because we're putting on the brakes too hard, so we need to ease off. So they're going to be raising interest rates only 50 basis points, not 75. So that has markets really happy. But after December, people are going to realize, wait, this is actually a bad thing, because everything else he says is that they're still going to continue raising rates and they're still going to approach inflation seriously. But at the same time, if you listen to a lot of what he says, he sounds like a lot of analysts, sometimes myself. It's like, it could happen. We could get it under control. It's a possibility. It's within the realm a possibility to happen. But there's no confidence in his tone, which makes me think that after our little Santa Claus rally towards the end of this month, it would make sense to see charts roll over and fall further into the new year. That's what I'm expecting. So again, my targets would be these ones, and I'm still sticking to these targets. So the first one is 13,880, then 12, 11, 10K, all that stuff. Now it may not happen right away. That's true. So this is basically how I am labeling what I think is going to happen next based on its probability. So I think it's more probable to expect Bitcoin to kind of go sideways and stick in this range. Not so believable for it to come up to 18.5 and fall. But if it did, it could create a bear flag. But I don't see that in the works right now. It would make more sense for it to fall lower. Okay. So I'm going to take all this and put it away. There we go. And now I want to focus on some support and resistance lines, because I think this is really interesting and really important to look at. So we are looking at, here we are. Oh no, I was fine where I was before because I have to draw it. So the reason why BTC is moving up right now is because it had a move above a trend line that's been in effect for quite a while, right here. So it closed above it today. So does this mean that everything is okay now? Well, it's interesting because it provides us with some sense of accomplishment for BTC's price, but really, if we're really going to be looking bullish, I mean, we would have to close and hold above this wick for one. So this wick at 17,140. Let me take this line just a second to get it accurate. There we go. Where did it run into resistance? Where is it right now? It's just barely over this wick. Why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because it's this lower wick. It established a price point. That's why. So there's that. There's also this line right here of resistance, and we could even make a really cheap resistance fan for this. So the price has broken out of that. So that's good-ish. It's good-ish. Let's back it up a bit more though to see how things have changed. So we're really looking at this in regards to a resistance fan. So I think that by the time we get here to middle of December or whatever, if it continues to go up higher, this is going to be the real test. Because look, what is right there? If we saw Bitcoin's price shoot up even higher, what's right there? Well, that's resistance. This is still not strong because it's near term or it's short-term resistance, but still it's important to pay attention to. So the big point of resistance is up here. As we've been following and discussing for months when it comes to resistance, there are lines of resistance in play that we have not yet seen BTC break above. So the times that it has broken above, boy, did it feel good. And here we are right here. So it broke out above. It's still held to this line. That's nice and all, but it's not bullish enough for me to get really excited. So here we are with this new fan. Let me get rid of this guy. So this is really what we're looking at from this peak to this right there, just before we fell. It's only a matter of time till we break it and test it. So we're looking at in 2 weeks or so. Let's see. If we just go sideways. So about 2 weeks from now, we should be coming up to this line of resistance and testing out to see how it goes. Eventually, as time goes on, as time goes by, we will see BTC's price, even if it goes lower, eventually it's going to have to do something, and it's going to come into contact with this at one point or another, and it's going to get tested and then finally get tested and go up higher from it. So it's just a matter of time. All lines of support and resistance get broken eventually. So we're just in a waiting game right now. I think it's really important to just zoom out to see where are we in the grand scheme of things. We're still not doing well. There is a little bit of hope, and that's why the markets are eating it up right now, but it's not amazing. It's not worth celebrating much yet. But still, the outlandish scenario, crazy scenario, right? Not so crazy scenario, going sideways, the more believable scenario, falling and going lower. Okay, let me take a look at the other charts. So one thing that is interesting is that Ethereum did close a TBO close short, which is the orange diamond. And I just realized this entire time, I haven't been showing my screen. You guys have just been looking at me, right? This is what I get for going full screen on TradingView and not here. So that's really frustrating. Sorry about that. Let me chat. Okay. Yes. I know. Let me go back. Dang it. So I'm on TradingView. Good. Oh, I have to do all that again. Nuts. So this is what I was saying. Hopefully you could see it reflected in my glasses. No, you couldn't. That's okay. Let me get rid of the TBO. So crazy scenario one is the yellow line here, where it goes to resistance at 18,500 and it goes up higher. That would be very crazy, very unexpected. Not so crazy scenario would be hitting 18.5, bouncing and going sideways. Not as crazy, but still crazy. And then the more believable scenario would be even moving up a little bit higher, but coming back down and then falling lower as we open up into the new year. Now, don't like call this gospel right here. Like, it could take a lot longer. Like, maybe this doesn't happen this soon. Like, maybe it does this and it comes down and then it takes longer. So by the time we're in end of January, we're falling a lot further. That might be more probable. It's just the outcomes that I'm talking about. Again, sorry about that. So in regards to those trend lines that I was drawing, right now we are looking at, actually I can just bring them all back. Just give me a second. There we go. Well, that was faster. So we have this big overhead trend line. This one right here, I'm going to make it even thicker. And then we have this fan line that I'm taking from this point to this point here just before we fell. That's giving us this line. And now we have this more recent line that's a lot thinner. So eventually all trend lines are broken, like I said, but we have this to worry about first, which will probably be broken and or at least tested here in late December. We'll see. But again, thinking about this group 1 scenario, note that it would be very crazy. Again, this is why. See this trend line? It'd be very crazy for BTC's price for one to break above 18.5 in such a short amount of time, or even over here, if it does, by middle of December, it has this big line of resistance to cross. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I was talking as well about the reason why we've kind of stopped moving up, why we didn't move up higher. That's because of this lower wick on the daily chart here that's at 17,114, which you can see over here. So the prices stopped here. Surprise, surprise. We've also got this wick right here at 17,243. So there's obviously a lot of resistance to go way, way, way higher, which again, that's why it's labeled a crazy scenario, because there's so much resistance, so many people panic selled, which means that there are going to be a lot of people taking profit up here at 20K, which I never thought would be the scenario, but this is the universe that we're living in right now. All right. I want to talk about, did I actually show anything about the Dow Jones chart? Did I talk about that, or was it just still on me? You guys got to tell me in the chat. Gosh, I hope not. I hope you weren't just looking at me during that time. So annoying. Yeah, lag. It's okay. I'll wait. I'll come back to it rather. Let me just keep going. All right, so Ethereum has shown some signs of strength, and that would be here with the TBO close short on the daily, which is good, because when we've seen these happen before, that means that the price is near the end of a downward trend, could be changing the trend direction soon. So that's what we're seeing in progress, like we've seen back here. Doesn't mean that we're going up right away. And sometimes it's going to be a false signal, but I do like how we're seeing this, and BTC is not even close to printing one of those. There's way more demand for Ethereum right now, especially at these levels. I don't think it discounts the fact that we could head lower overall, especially down here towards this area at 800 or so, or even 500. It could go lower. It could, if things are really going to get bad. But I still think it's interesting that we got this close short here. Yes, we saw the Dow. Good. Okay. When I go to the weekly time frame for Ethereum, a couple of other things. Let me go over here to this chart because it has more trading volume. Oh, good. I'm still not seeing any real significant demand. I mean, yes, there's a big peak in selling because of all the terrible stuff happening, but there's still no real sign of demand like we previously seen before. This is back when people were buying Ethereum to stake it for ETH 2.0.
It's fallen off a lot.
So I don't see demand on the weekly time frame, which would give me the strongest sentiment for Ethereum. RSI is just doing its thing. It's right in the middle zone, so it's like meh. It's not doing much of anything at all. So yeah, I'm not really. I guess it could go higher, but there is resistance to pay attention to here, drawn out by the TBO at 1639, which it says right there, and 2012. So I find it really hard to believe that Ethereum is going to make a 27% move or even a 50% move. Maybe. I mean, if things get really happy for some weird reason, sure. Yeah. The last one is I wanted to give an update on CTK. I shared this one in another chart in last week's live stream. This is one that I think is still worth paying attention to. Note that this is a stablecoin pair, and Bitcoin closed almost 5%. So yesterday, for this candle, it only closed 2%. Why? Actually, when you look at the market, we're going to go right here to Binance BTC USDT. There we go. Get rid of these guys. So some of these charts are going to be making way bigger moves, and some of them have already made their moves, and now they're starting to cool off. So what do I see in this chart? Why am I so excited about CTK? If I go to the weekly time frame, the reason why, and this is a chart you just kind of have to wait on. This is not like chasing. This is establishing a trading plan, looking at the chart, figuring out what are you going to do, where are you going to do it, all that kind of stuff. So CTK could fail, it could fall lower. That's true. And sometimes it takes a while, but I'm banking on the fact that we're going to see a repeat of what we've seen before. Maybe not to the same magnitude, but I have this one here as well to share a little bit about what I offer in the Better Traders Club. It is on the list so far, tentatively, for next week, unless something changes. But yeah, and if you want access to the Better Traders Club, I forgot to mention that before. Now you can see my browser. Good. So you'll have to go to thebettertraders.com and you go to club and you can learn about everything we have in the club. I have a live stream coming up on Monday night next week. And I would love to see you guys there to share what we're doing in the Better Traders Club, the watch lists, the market analysis, all that fun stuff. So yeah, you got to go there to get the goods. All right, let me see where I am. Okay, cool. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about is the interview that SBF did with the New York Times. I forget what they even call it because it doesn't even matter because it's all just a shill fest. But basically, it was that interview that he was having from the Bahamas with them. And at the end of the interview, the interviewer says, "Thank you for your time and for doing your best to talk to me and answer these questions as best you can." And then everybody just claps. Like, is this real life? This seems like a joke. Like, I don't get it. Like, do people really just believe everything that the media tells them? Because that's what it feels like when I'm reading through the comments, and also seeing that on Good Morning America, which is a daily morning show in the United States. They're going to be talking, or rather sharing, an interview with Sam Bankman-Fried. It's like, what? About how he's the victim in all this. What? Like, I honestly don't get what the narrative is right now because it's so confusing. I don't understand why Kevin O'Leary is still saying that SBF is a good guy, how Bill Ackman can back SBF to say, you know what, I think he's telling the truth, guys. It's like there's something bigger going on. So again, this is why mass media does not like crypto, especially Bitcoin. because Bitcoin provides not only the proof of funds, like you know how many BTC are out there, we all get that, but you can't censor BTC and you can't control the narrative of Bitcoin. It's just going to exist. It just is. It's out there. And FTT was a blended token that the exchange FTX made to help boost their sales. And it had one utility, which was to reduce trading fees. That's it. And lots of other exchanges have these same tokens. And now I am more wary than ever of exchange tokens. The only one that has any meat to it, in my opinion, would be BNB. Basically because it doesn't just provide a discount on trading fees, but they also require it for their Binance Smart Chain ecosystem. So there, it's like, good, you actually have a use case for your token. It's not just for saving trading fees. So yeah, I know this is like a little bit out there, but it's sad, to be honest, to see Sam Bankman-Fried so far getting away with the biggest fraud of the century, bigger than Bernie Madoff, bigger than Lehman in scale. Because yeah, it's just, yeah, it's, you can tell I'm still processing a lot of it too. It's sad. Okay, so to end on a high note, on a positive note, I do want to remind people that, you can't see the screen, good, that we are having our Black Friday sale right now. So Black Friday is happening. It is 50% off of everything on our site. After this, we're not going to have a deep sale like this, well, for the rest of the year, until next year. So just keep this in mind that we got this going on. Yep. So stay safe out there. Be really cautious about the markets. Don't get too excited about anything and don't chase for sure. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.